Hey guys, thanks for coming back on with me to hear this story. So, this is the Riverbank Part 1. The mole had been working very hard all the morning, spring cleaning his little home, first with brooms and with dusters, then on ladders and steps and chairs with a brush and a pail and whitewash. He did this until he had dust in his throat and eyes and splashes of whitewash all over his black fur. So whitewash is a special solution made of limestone and water used like paint to whiten walls or other things. Spring was moving in the air above and the earth below and around him in his dark and lowly little house. Any wonder he suddenly flung down his brush on the floor, said "Bother!" and "Oh, blow!" and also "Hang spring cleaning!" and bolted out of the house without even waiting to put on his coat. So bother and "oh, blow" and "hang" are examples of British sayings that show someone doesn't like something, similar to how an American would say "oh, snap" or "forget about it." Okay? Mole immediately made for the steep little tunnel, and without a moment's hesitation, he began scraping, scratching, and scrabbling. He worked busily with his little paws and muttered to himself, up we go, till at last, pop, his snout came out into the sunshine, and he found himself rolling in the warm grass of a great meadow. "This is fine," he said to himself. "This is better than whitewashing," he added as he jumped with delight at the joy of spring. In this state of happiness he made his way across the meadow till he reached the hedge on the farther side. It all seemed too good to be true, as moving hither and thither he observed everywhere birds building and leaves and flowers bursting forth. He thought his happiness was complete when, as he meandered aimlessly along, he came to the edge of a full-fed river. There he stood quite mesmerized, as never before had he seen a river. He watched in awe as it shimmered and shined, gurgled and burgled, swirled and curled its way seaward. So bewitched and fascinated was he that he trotted for a while by the side of it. Eventually exhausted by this tremendous effort, he sat down on the bank to rest. As he sat on the grass and gazed across the river, a dark hole in the bank opposite, just above the water's edge, caught his eye. Mole quietly contemplated what a nice snug dwelling place it would make. As he gazed, something bright and small seemed to twinkle like a shiny, tiny star down in the heart of it. But it could hardly have been a star, and it was too glittery and small for a glowworm. So you can see this picture here. This is a picture of a glowworm. A glowworm is a type of wingless beetle that creates and gives off a bright light. The beetles that have wings are called fireflies or lightning bugs. Then as he looked, it winked at him, and so revealed itself to be an eye, and a small face began gradually to grow up round it, like a frame around a picture. A brown little face with whiskers, a gray round face with the same twinkle in its eye, small neat ears, and thick silky hair. It was the water rat. The two animals stood and regarded each other cautiously. "Hello, Mole," said the water rat. "Hello, Rat," said the Mole. "Would you like to come over?" inquired the rat. "Oh, it's all very well to ask," said the Mole rather grumpily, he he being new to a river and riverside life and its ways. The rat said nothing, but stooped and unfastened a rope and hauled on it, then lightly stepped into a little boat which the mole had not observed. It was painted blue outside and white within, and was just the size for two animals, and the mole loved it immediately. That rat sculled across. The word "sculled" here has to do with rowing a boat with two oars, and it begins with the letter sk. Don't confuse it with the word skull s. It begins with the letters sc. Don't confuse it with the word skull, as in the head of a skeleton, which begins with the letters sk. So the rat sculled across. Then he held up his forepaw as the mole stepped gingerly down. "Lean on that," he said. "Now then, step lively." And the mole, to his great delight, found himself actually seated in the stern of a real boat. So stern means the rear. "This has been a wonderful day," said he, as the rat shoved off and took to the sculls again. "Do you know, I've never been in a boat before in all my life." "What?" cried the rat, open-mouthed. "Never been in never been, what have you been doing then?" "Is it so nice as all that?" asked the rat shyly, though he was quite prepared to believe it as he leant back in his seat and surveyed the cushions, the oars, and all the fascinating fittings. "Nice? It's the only thing," said the water rat solemnly as he leant forward for his stroke. "Believe me, my young friend, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, half so much worth doing as simply messing about in a boat. Simply messing," he went on dreamily. "Messing about in boats, messing." "Look ahead, Rat!" cried the mole suddenly. It was too late. The boat struck the bank full tilt. The oarsman lay on his back at the bottom of the boat, his heels in the air. So the oarsman is the man with the oars. Who is the oarsman in this case? Yes, it's Water Rat. "About in boats or with boats," said the rat. The rat went on cheerily, picking himself up with a pleasant laugh. "In or out of 'em, it doesn't matter. Look here, if you've really nothing else to do, what do you say we spend time on the river together?" The mole waggled his toes with sheer happiness, spread his chest with a sigh of contentment, and leaned back blissfully into the soft cushions. "What a day I'm having!" he said. "Let us start at once." "Hold on a minute, then," said the rat as he tied fast the boat and climbed up into his hole above. Moments later he reappeared, staggering under a fat wicker luncheon basket. "Shove that under your feet," he said to the mole, as he passed it down into the boat. Then he untied the boat and took the sculls again. "What's inside it?" asked the mole eagerly. "There's cold chicken inside it," replied the rat. "Cold tongue, cold ham, cold beef, pickled gherkin, salad, French rolls, crescent sandwiches, potted meat, ginger beer, lemonade, soda water." "Oh, stop, stop!" cried the mole. "This is too much." "Do you really think so?" inquired the rat seriously. "It's only what I always take on these little excursions. The other animals complain that I hardly have enough." The mole did not hear a word he said. He was already absorbed in the new life he was entering into. He trailed a paw in the water and dreamed long, waking dreams. The water rat, like the good little fellow he was, sculled steadily on and did not disturb him. I like your clothes, old chap," the rat remarked after some half an hour or so had passed. Old chap is a British slang for a man, boy, or fellow. "I'm going to get a velvet jacket myself some day." "I beg your pardon," said the mole, pulling himself together with an effort. "You must think me very rude, but all this is so new to me. So, this is a river?" "The river," corrected the rat. "And you really live by the river? What a joyful life!" "By it, and with it, and on it, and in it," said the rat. "It's brother and sister to me, and aunt, and company, and food and drink, and, naturally, washing. It's my world, and I don't want any other." "But isn't it a bit dull at times?" the mole asked. "Just you and the river, and no one else to pass a word with?" "No one else to—" "Well, I mustn't be hard on you," said the rat. "You're new to it. The bank is so crowded nowadays that many people are moving away altogether. Oh no, it isn't what it used to be at all. Otters, kingfishers, dabchicks, moorhens, all of them about all day long and always wanting you to do something, as if a fellow had no business of his own to attend to. Okay, so are some of those animals that Water Rat was talking about. Here's an otter, here's a kingfisher, and these are moorhens and dabchicks. Those are types of birds. What lies over there? Asked the mole, waving a paw towards the background of woodland that darkly framed the water meadows on one side of the river. Well, replied the rat hesitantly, that's the wild wood. We don't go there very often. Are there scary creatures there? Mole asked, trying not to tremble. The squirrels are all right, Rat replied, and the rabbits, some of 'em, but rabbits are a mixed lot. And then there's Badger, of course. He lives right in the heart of it. Wouldn't live anywhere else either. Dear old Badger. Nobody interferes with him. Why would why, who should interfere with him? Asked the mole. Well, of course there are others, explained the rat in a hesitating sort of way. Weasels, stoats, foxes, and so on. They're all right in a way. I'm very good friends with them. Pass the time of day when we meet, but you can't trust them, and that's a fact. Oh, there they are. You can see the weasels and ferrets, and stoats are like a type of ferret, and foxes. And beyond the wild wood? Mole asked. Beyond the wild wood is the wide world, said the rat. And that's something that doesn't matter, either to you or me. I've never been there, and I'm never going, nor you either. If you've got any sense, don't ever refer to it again, please. Now then, here's our backwater at last, where we're going to have lunch. So a backwater is a peaceful body of water connected to a river, but with little or almost no current or movement. So you will hear about Mole and Rat's picnic lunch on the backwater in the next Read Aloud. All right, so that's our chapter for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And then there will be another video for you to watch with questions about what we just learned.